Hi, my name is Sam. I'm from Gloucester, Virginia, and my major is global public health while also following a pre-med advising track.
My name is Maddie, and I am interested in education and law.
Hi, I am Livia Sauvage, and I'm thinking about majoring in global public health, kind of-ish.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm probably going to major in global development.
I am taking 3 classes through Regents. One of them is called Introduction to Political Ideologies, Politics of Development, and my 3rd class is the History of London.
All right, well, Maddie and I are both in History of London and Introduction to Political Ideologies. I myself am taking Politics of Gender, and we are also in the 2 engagements that you have to take. The easiest part of studying academics here at Regents University is just studying with others. I think the library is such a great accessible area where you can sit down with any of your buddies and just, pump out just a nice study session for a couple hours. I think that's super easy to do.
I think there is a lot of collaboration, especially between student and teachers. So if you need help with something, the teachers here are very open. They have office hours. They're very kind. Like if you have a question, they're gonna answer it. So.
I mean, there's not too much homework, and it's kind of self-regulated in that you can do the readings if you really are interested in this class. At the same time, if I have something else that I need to do that is graded, that needs to get done by the next day, I can put more priority on that and then kind of do those readings a little later.
The most challenging part for me is a lot of my Regents classes had the midterm exam around the same time period, so you really have to buckle down and get your stuff done. It was hard to really embrace the city of London and also complete the task at hand, but it wasn't as bad as long as you just grind it out.
It's just a really big balancing act. There's a lot of stimulation coming from both the city and the university. There are things to do here like clubs and societies as well. If you're interested in that, that is going to serve as a distraction from those things. You also have to take into account you just have the midterm and the final grades, so you really have to buckle down on those like Sam said. You can't really joke around because you only have 2 grades, so I would just stay aware and focus and kind of keep yourself disciplined, even though up to the midterm and up to the final exam, you're not getting as many assignments.
Dealing with distractions, weekend trips to wonderful places, going to see things in London, it can all keep you from focusing on academics. But the academics themselves aren't hard, and just making sure you get the work on time, actually say, oh, well, I'm actually studying now. I'm not just on vacation, so.
So UVA classes that we take here at Regents, they're easier in a sense because you have so much fun in them. You're always going to the theater, or you're going on a walking tour of the city, or you're going to museums. You're much more invested in what you're doing because it becomes so much more interesting, and it really relates to your life in the broader sense of things. Those classes are really great because they're so involved and so interesting because of what they have you out and about doing, and they're very hands-on.
The professors also make it super easy and accessible to ask them for help on any of their essays, or if an exam's coming up, they're absolutely able to set up a private meeting with you and go over what's going to be on the exam, and they're just great. It's been super easy to learn the material and get through all of the assignments that they've given us.
The UVA classes that we do take here, they do have some cons and some hardships that come with them. For instance, sometimes you'll have class obligations outside of your scheduled, 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours in that class. That sounds bad. It's fun, but also it can be difficult to schedule other activities or other fun things or clubs when you have an all over the place schedule. So it really is a full-time commitment, these classes, because you'll have a theater trip or museum trip before you would usually have class, or maybe after, or even on a day that you don't have that class. So that can sometimes be difficult for some people, but you make it work.
Right, and also along with that, sometimes the workload with the reading and writing maybe seems like a lot, but it actually isn't. If you think about how easy it is to study with your peers or talk to the professors, it might seem stressful and hard at first, but once you get in the rhythm of things and you really embrace the new surroundings, I think it becomes a lot less challenging and more fun.
Yeah, more fun. It's definitely worth it too, because the material itself is very interesting, and it also really develops your critical thinking skills, and I really feel like I'm helped with my rest of the time going back. I think the reading and writing loads, they really prepared me very well. So yeah, I would say it's worth it. It is a lot, but it's worth it.
It's more of a personal issue, but my senior year, most of it was quite lax. It was an intense, like, 3 months of getting everything done and a million things to do, but then it was, 6 months of, okay, I'm ready to graduate. So just adjusting back to that, higher expectations, keeping motivated, all those issues, that's been what I've been dealing with. UVA has given me a really great base. Our orientation, we had these wonderful deans, wonderful leadership people from UVA come to us, like Dean Most and Dean Doan. From those brief couple of days, I felt comfortable in emailing Dean Most about what courses should I take, how do I use this, all these little questions that come up. And for example, Casey, I had a lot of issues with housing for next year, and I was really confused. I didn't know what to do, and plans kept on changing. It was 3 weeks of dealing with housing, but I talked to her, I was in the brasserie, the coffee shop, and she's like, well, why didn't you just look into a language house? I was like, wow, thank you. I needed someone to help me, and I found someone. So it's been good.
So UVA really helped me out academically planning for my second semester by pairing all of us up with Dean Doan. And he's obviously wasn't here, but we were all able to easily Skype him, and he really helped us plan our coursework for next semester. I'm following a pre-med advising track, so he put me in contact with one of the directors at the pre-health facility. So I got in contact with her just as smoothly, and I got all my classes prepared for next semester without an issue.
I think UVA staff and professors, and they're very open to talking to you. You just send them an email and they'll really help. Also, Professor Levinson here, he's very helpful. If you have any questions concerning, UVA, especially with English, because that's his thing, but also I'm sure he would be willing to direct you toward a staff member at UVA that he personally knows. I'm sure he would do that.
So my favorite excursion that we've done through London First has for sure been going back to the area of Shoreditch and exploring the street art. It was just so cool to go walking down paths and alleyways that you for sure wouldn't have gone down to unless you were through this program or scheduled a walking tour by yourself. Right. Yeah. So that experience was so great. I didn't really have a profound appreciation of graffiti. I enjoyed looking at it because I love bright colors, but after this tour, I for sure have a more deeper appreciation for the artists and what they do.
That's something the program has done a lot for me, is I knew of them, but I didn't really have a huge appreciation for them. Just the other night, we had a kind of private performance from the Chamber Music Box, which is like a really small orchestral performance group, and it was so amazing, and they were so much passion and individuality in their performance that it really has created an interest in classical music for me. I absolutely loved it. Another thing that we get to do so much in the program is we get to go to the theater. My absolute favorite play that we saw was Ink. Talks about Rupert Murdoch and the rise of the Sun newspaper in London and England in general, the UK, and it was just so amazing. So I think kind of the best parts of the program for me are the outings specifically, more musically or the more drama tilted aspects.
We've been going to a lot of plays. I guess that aspect of being able to go to all these different plays that I otherwise would not have known because they're not those traditional West End musicals that you hear of that also show on Broadway. So that's one thing. But I do think another aspect of the program that I really, really love is that, so it's not just learning of the opportunity, but also receiving things that otherwise I honestly would not have been able to do. So on Tuesday, we went to a private showing of a chamber music performance, which was awesome. I don't really love classical music, but it was just an amazing experience. And I like hearing it. And it was really cool. And I thought about it and I was like, I definitely would not have been able to pull strings like that, and literally, but have been able to experience and have that opportunity without being in this program. Being, Professor Levinson giving us finding those things to do in London that otherwise just a regular, student, even studying abroad, even anyone else that's here at Regents studying abroad would have been able to have.
you know? To answer this honestly, I do not know where my favorite place in London is, because cliche enough, I love it all. I love Camden, I love Marylebone High Street, I go there quite often. I love the Christmas lights of Piccadilly Circus, even though the crowds are horrendous. I love walking down Swallow Street because there are 2 Argentine restaurants and this Indian restaurant that my grandma used to go to when she was 20 and now she's like 80, but it's cool that it's still there. So anywhere where I have a connection to, I would consider that my favorite spot.
My favorite place to study and do work is a place called, and Casey loves it and Emmy loves it, the Nordic Bakery. It is delicious. It smells of cinnamon buns 24/7 from outside the door. It is just amazing atmosphere, really small but really cute and really good. I really like that area, especially because the street that it's off of, Marylebone High Street, is just a very posh street with a lot of expensive antiques, so it's just very city-like, and it's just right off that, and it's just, I just love that atmosphere, being able to walk back, and it's really close to school. So that's definitely my favorite place to study, to do homework, to kind of chill there for, 5 or 6 hours, even though it gets very dark very quickly. I feel safe walking home from there. It's not a long walk at all. Also like the city itself of London, of where St. Paul's is, but also where the Thames is. It's just a beautiful place, and even though I'm not from London, I'm not English at all, but I've only been here for about, 2 months, I do feel like I know my way around. And when I'm near the Thames, near the London Eye, and it's just tourist crazy, I don't really feel like a tourist. I know where I am. I know how much things around me are and that they're way cheaper when I go back, more north, and not where all the tourists are. But it's nice knowing my way around, and I'd say Nordic Bakery is a great place.
The most surprising thing I found is just the ease of getting around. Like, if I have 2 hours to kill, I could do something new and go somewhere new and have a new experience and just, be back right before class.
If I could give my August self pre-London First program any advice, I think this probably just applies to pre-college in general, but just really learn to forgive yourself for any mistakes you make. It's a lot harder to be, perfect or get everything right in college than it is in high school, especially living abroad. You have so much unfamiliarity and changing environment and all these other factors that are affecting how well you do, and you're kind of figuring yourself out a little bit. Being abroad kind of forces you to look at yourself in comparison to the rest of the world, which is great, but it can be difficult. I would tell myself to be very open to change, both around myself and within myself. I know that sounds very cliche and cheesy, but just kind of accept that you're gonna make mistakes and that it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. It'll be okay.
Don't be afraid to social network. Don't be afraid to talk to people. You might miss out on a really great person that you could, create a great bond with. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't feel like you have to impress everyone, especially in class. Everyone's unique, everyone's different in their own way. Don't be afraid to show that. Don't conform yourself to some blasé attitude. Be yourself, social network, make friends.
Make the best that you are here. I think that there was kind of a period of 3 weeks that I kind of just didn't go away from Regents all that much. I didn't really embrace being in London all the time, of which obviously you don't want to overwhelm yourself of this being, you don't have to explore the city every second, or every second that you're not in class or anything, but I think maybe exploring a little bit more. I would have told my August self to make the most of it even more than I have already. Try to explore a little bit more and find new places.
My advice for August 2017 Emmy would be to not worry as much and to enjoy the unexpected and take things easy. It'll be okay.